Hey everyone and welcome to another Armored Warfare video. Today is the 3rd anniversary of Armored Warfare, and as part of the celebrations, my have introduced a new vehicle to mark the occasion, and that is the Tier 5 tank destroyer, the Soviet-made IT-1. Now the IT-1 was an extension of the T-62 program, utilises the hull and the turret from that vehicle, combining it with the ferocious Draken anti-tank guided missile launcher. It wasn't very popular though with the vehicle wasn't very popular with the military. It was very vulnerable to close-in attack, as well as the very limited amount of ammunition it could actually carry. Only lasted a couple of years in service, and eventually they were all converted into armoured recovery vehicles. In Armoured Warfare though, like I mentioned earlier, it's a premium Tier 5 tank destroyer. You can get hold of it though by playing one single game, any game mode, until the 16th of October at 1600 CEST. So it's really easy to get hold of. But what are you actually getting? Well, let's start with its armament. The 118mm Draken anti-tank guided missile launcher on the roof of the vehicle. 725 average damage per missile, roughly a 10-second reload gives it one of the highest damages per minute out of all of the Tier 4 vehicles. And the 500mm of penetration is more than enough to deal with most vehicles in its tier. Apart from some of the more heavily armoured things like the Magak, and also is going to be defeated by things like ERA, which is designed to deal with anti-tank guided missiles. The missile travels decently fast too, which means you're going to be able to track targets fairly easily, which makes it a very usable vehicle. Not awkward in the slightest, and it makes it even better in close range. And some ATGM vehicles can be very, very awkward at close range, unlike this. Armor-wise, the IT-1 is actually kind of interesting. Don't forget, this is based on the chassis of the T-62, which means it is effectively a Tier 3 vehicle. That's the hull of a Tier 3 vehicle if you look all the way down here. Under T, which is over here somewhere. There you go, T-62, which is a Tier 3 vehicle. So yeah, there you go, you can see the hull there. So don't expect amazing things in terms of like the armor. The thing is though, like, whilst the hull is very weak, let's bring up the armor inspector. The hull is very, very weak, as you can see here. The turret, however, is redonkulously strong. Like, from the side, it's pretty much 100% pen, and this is with another IT-1. Let's choose one of the highest pen vehicles of its tier. Let's go for the Leo 1A5, and its tier. As you can see, it's going to go straight through the middle here. It's going to go through the hull with ease. It's just going to go through like butter. It will just slam everything into you. However, this turret is impervious. Get this hull down, and this actually can be a very, very difficult thing to try and purge out of a position. The only problem is, as you can see, the turret is very, very small, and the sort of upper glacis is quite high. So trying to hide this upper glacis, which everything goes through like butter, as you can see, is very, very difficult. And nigh on impossible. But if you can get this into a really good spot, like, because don't forget, your launcher's way up here. So you've actually got this amount of dead space too to actually like take into account. So if you can get something that like comes up to here, like a wall or something, you can actually you can become very, very difficult to get out of a position, or a rock, something like that. It can be very, very strong, and nothing is going to get through that turret as well. So effectively, you actually only need to get up to here. Because it's like in the turret ring, like, you're not going to hit the turret ring. Like, realistically, you're not going to do any damage to that thing. It's just not going to happen. So just cover up to the top of your like upper glacis, or even like halfway up. It's going to leave not much to shoot at, and it's going to be very, very difficult to purge out of a position. If you get caught though, as you can see, sides, rear, everything is very, very easy to pen. Even the side of the turret here is very, very easy. Like, you're going to hit the gunner there, you're going to hit the breach there. So it's very, very easy to pen from the side, like almost everywhere, especially with something like the Leo. But the worst thing is, like, if you get caught from the front, let's go with something that's got a derp gun, like the Sheriderp. Oh look, it's going to go straight through. So you are going to be taking a hit for like 700 damage. I mean, the thing is though, look, 65%. Oh, you're actually going to hit turret ring there. Oh, okay. So turret ring might be easier to knock out than I thought it was. If you hit straight on the front here, turret ring is going to get damaged. Oh boy, okay, yeah. So you can actually take out that turret ring a bit more easily than I thought you could. But even still, like, cover up to like probably about here and you're going to be okay, because it's going to be a pretty small like area to be able to hit. And it's going to be very, very difficult to get, like, to actually get out of a position. Especially if you're peeking over rock. Like I say, turret is, like, the actual missile is very, very high up. It's up here. So, like, you can have quite high cover. Like, you can have a high wall here and fire over the top. And the missile fires, like, slightly upwards as well when it goes up. It sort of goes in a bit of an arc. So, it really, really is quite easy to hide some of the weak armor in this. And honestly, in medium PvE, which is a lot of what I play, because you can only go into medium with this tier of vehicle anyway, I play a lot of the PvE, and I've been using this very aggressively. And honestly, with the vehicles that you meet in the PvE, that armor is actually enough to deal with like most of the things you come up against. Because you can sort of side scrape as well. Like if you side scrape with this thing, let's bring it back up again. I mean, it's still going to go through most of the time, but like against some of the lower tier vehicles, there you go. Like I'm on the side. If you sort of side scrape, it's just you're not going through. You're not going through there. So if you're like, yeah, trying to side scrape around a corner or whatever, it's there you go. You're going through there most of the time, but still, like most of the time your tracks are going to eat it, or like if you get the angling just right, there you go. You're just gonna be like bouncing shots off the side, and it is it can be very useful. Because don't forget, your missile launcher is going to be here looking straight at you, so you can sort of back around a corner if you want to, and actually side scrape pretty effectively in this thing. So used properly, you can actually be rather effective with this armor, despite it being like a couple of tiers lower than it really should be. Oh, that's actually another IT1 shooting at it. Like Sheridan, look. You ain't getting through that. You just ain't getting through. So, it's one of those things that you've got to play it effectively to get the most out of the armor. If you play it, like, head-on, and if you are very aggressive with it, going, like, head-on, you might get caught out. And, like, Sheridan is putting, what, 800, 700 and something damage into you pretty much every time. So, it's one of those things you've got to be very careful and position yourself properly to make the most of pretty limited armor. Mobility-wise, it's not too bad either. 6 seconds to 32 kilometers an hour, top speed of 50. It can get into positions pretty quickly and also relocate its position if it's in danger of being overrun. Its camo, however, doesn't really lend itself to being the stealthy missile thrower hiding at the back. It's fairly easily spotted. In fact, it's got less camo than the Leopard 1A5, so it's kind of designed to be sat just behind the front line, lobbing missiles at the enemy from close-ish range. But that's enough about the stats of the vehicle. What do I think about it? Is it a good vehicle? Yes it is. It's really, really good. The armor, it can be enough when used properly to be able to bounce a few shots, but don't really rely on it. It's, especially in PvE though, you can play this kind of aggressively, as you've seen me do in the footage in the background. It's a really satisfying vehicle to play, smashing a missile into something for 900-ish damage on a light-skinned vehicle. It is a ton of fun to play. More than that though, it's genuinely good. I like it a lot. The one thing I love in games is theatre, and this thing has it in spades. It feels really nice to drive, but it also feels good to shoot. Once you fire, the reload of this thing is incredible. The mechanism goes back inside the turret and then pops out again when it's ready to fire again. It's so cool, and I've not stopped thinking it was cool every single time I reload. I love it so much. It's a great anniversary gift, especially since you only need to do one battle to get a hold of it. Happy anniversary to Armored Warfare. Thank you for this pretty damn cool vehicle. Hope you enjoyed my look at this brand new IT1. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. I'll have more Armored Warfare content coming soon, but for now, many thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.
Identify. Hostile tank. doubt the train will get moving again. Evac is